Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Ipswich Central Redevelopment Committee on today, 11th of March 2021. Just noting Councillors' attendance, Councillor Kunzelman is approaching. Thank you. There's no apologies. We move on to item number 1, which is a report, Ipswich Central Redevelopment Committee of the 11th of February 2021. Can I call on the relevant council officer, please? Sorry?
Yes, confirmation.
Confirmation of minutes. My apologies, Mr. Ryan. Can I have a mover, please?
Seem to be working for some reason.
Thank you, Councillor Milligan. And a seconder, thank you, Councillor Jonink. Put the matter to the vote. All in favour, confirmed and carried. Move on to item number 2 on the agenda, which is the tender consideration plan. It's a report concerning the procurement of the retail leasing agent for the Ipswich Central CBD transformation project, without first inviting written quotes or tenders. Can I call on the relevant council officer, please?
Richard White, Manager of Procurement.
Thank you, Mr. White. Would you just give us a quick summary on why this matters?
Yeah. So a tender consideration plan is in a circumstance where it would be disadvantageous for us to go out and meet our legislative obligations to seek a quote or do an open tender for services or goods. So in this case particularly, it's the engagement of Randbury Property Services as the ongoing retail leasing agent that we're utilising to actively engage the leases for the redevelopment area. The reason we are taking this rather than going back to market is the corporate knowledge that they've been here for this time, and it's a bit of a changing horses mid-race. With this one, wouldn't be advantageous for a council. So we could take this back out to market. We certainly could. There are other people that could do this job, but it's been agreed, sort of working with the stakeholders in council, that would be disadvantageous overall and would either cost us more or we would lose more time in a critical stage of the project.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Could I have somebody move the recommendation? I propose that we remove recommendations A, B, C and D. Thank you, Councillor Jonnik, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Kunzelman. Open it up for discussion. No, we'll put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Confirmed. That's unanimous and carried. Thank you. Moving on to item number 3. Again, tender consideration plan. It's a report concerning the program management services for the delivery of the remaining scope of the building works in the Ipswich Central CBD transformation project. Including, it will cover the defects liability period, and obviously this is again without first inviting written quotes or tenders. Does anyone want to speak to the relevant council officer? No? Could I have somebody move recommendation? I propose we move recommendations A through to D. That council resolve to prepare a tender consideration plan for the Ipswich Central CBD transformation that we resolve to adopt the tender consideration plan for the program management services. Council enter into a contract with Rambouillet Management Group for the program management services. And finally, D, Council delegate the power under Section 257 of the Local Government Act to the CEO to enter into a contract with Rambouillet. Could I have somebody move that? Thank you, Councillor Johnick. And a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Milligan. If there's any discussion? No? Put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Confirm that's unanimous and carried. Moving on to item number 4, the Nicholas Street Precinct Executive Report number 25 to the 28th of February 2021. The recommendation is that the Nicholas Street Precinct Executive Report be received and the contents noted. Would anyone like to speak to the relevant council officer? No? Okay. Could I have somebody move the recommendation, please? Thank you, Councillor Milligan. And a seconder? Thank you, Mayor Harding. Any discussion? No? No? Mayor?
I don't know if you're going to speak to this, but it's just great to see the project running on ahead of schedule and budget. Well done to the team. So just, and obviously, the closer we get to the completion, more risks are mitigated.
Yes, very exciting time with the building being handed over towards the end of this month. We'll put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Unanimous and carried. Moving on to item number 5, the Retail Subcommittee, Sub-Project Steering Committee Report number 8, February 2021. The recommendation is that the report be received and the contents noted. Could I call on the relevant council officer, please? Thank you. Would you please state your name?
James Hepburn. I'm the chair of the Retail Sub-Project Committee.
Mr. Hepburn, would you mind giving us a little bit of a summary on where we are? I guess receiving lots of interest from residents wanting to know, I guess, how we're going with our leasing program. Are you able to give us any updates in that regard, and when we're likely to be able to announce to the public some of the names that we've secured?
Yes, of course. We go back to last month's report. We had 11 leasing deals in heads of terms agreed or legals, and since then I'm delighted to inform you that we have 3 new, one of which is a variation to an existing. So that's 1 new tenant that will be moving into Eats and 2 into Metro B. And without divulging any commercials, they are best described as an all-day cafe offer, a large bar and entertainment offer, and then a beauty salon. If I step back from that and just look at the market in general, it's become quite transactional from speaking to some of the larger landlords out there, particularly in the food and beverage and leisure market, which is exactly where we're aiming at. There's been a positive demand shift post-COVID. So to step back to last year, some of our delays, a majority of them have been around COVID. They've also been around us being unable to announce a cinema operator. And then there's the point in time where, until really November, December last year, there was nothing really to look at. It was a big construction site with a lot of hoardings up. Now that's changed. There are spaces and places for people to visit and for prospective tenants to go and look at. So we're moving into a very different place in terms of leasing. Mm-hmm. I think the cinema ROI comes to a conclusion this Friday, and then we should hopefully go to a second round and then be able to select an operator going into the middle of this year. Again, that post-COVID easing will bring us into, again, a more positive moment. So difficult to say right now, but as it is, we have 12-13 deals that are approved and going into legals. And with the positivity around a cinema operator, we should be closing these deals in the coming months.
Okay, and so when you say closing the deals, that will be moving from a head of the heads of agreement to an executed lease?
Yes, indeed. Well, it will be moving into an executed agreement for lease, with the lease sat there in the background to be signed on, essentially tenant taking occupation.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Mr Hepburn? No? Councillor Johnnick?
Just a statement, really, with Mr Hepburn's input. How much of a shift has occurred because of, from last year to this year, with the existence of COVID, and people coming back to getting more confidence in that commercial arena. So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I guess if I may, Chair, what's the feeling? I mean, I know at our last meeting there was a feeling of quite a lot of vigour and excitement back in the Nicholas Street precinct. Has that continued? That's
Yeah, I think it most definitely has continued. Everyone that we bring up here and show around are gobsmacked with the quality of product that has been delivered, and with the space that's going to be available going into the future. So I can see that we're going to get people competing for space when we get into the middle part towards the end of this year, particularly for the Metro B and the last remaining unit in the Eats phases. So it is, assuming everything stays the same, and with the economy and with COVID, then we're moving into hopefully a very very good year.
thank you.
No further questions? Thank you, Mr Hepburn.
Thank you.
Could I ask for somebody to move the recommendation, please? Thank you, Councillor Milligan, and a seconder. Thank you, Mayor Harding. Would anyone like to discuss further? No, I'd just like to make the comment that, there's not a week that goes by that we don't hear from residents wanting to know, I guess, the status of the leasing arrangements. People are chomping at the bit to understand what types of food opportunities and outlets that they will be seeing in the near future. So I look forward to being in a position where we can announce some of those big, exciting names soon. Put the matter... If there's nothing further to discuss, we'll put the matter to the vote. All those in favour, confirm, unanimous and carried. Moving on to item number 6, the Nicholas Street Precinct Communications Engagement and Activation Monthly Report. The recommendation being that the Nicholas Street Precinct report be received and contents noted. Can I call on the relevant council officer, please?
Good afternoon, Chair, Mayor and Councillors. Ali Grant, Engagement Manager for the Nicholas Street Precinct.
Ali, can you just give us a little bit of a rundown on the success of the events of late and what we've got to look forward to?
Absolutely, Deputy Mayor. So it's been an exciting time for the precinct. We've had a couple of really fabulous events this year, being our Switch Summer Sounds concert and also the Valentine's Day event, which was something a little bit different for the precinct in that we had the Ipswich City Orchestra there and the feedback was unbelievable. So we've down tools a little bit for a few weeks to work on finishing the activation plan for the rest of the year, which has been a fair bit of stakeholder negotiation and getting out and about and talking to community groups and event organisers. And I think we've got a really impressive calendar locked in, certainly for the rest of this year and into the middle of next year. So aside from the special events that we'll hold to mark all of the great milestones in association with the precinct, we're talking to a very large gin festival, which we're all very excited about. And with that festival, working with local traders, local restaurants, local food providers to make sure that, we're making that very much a community event. We've just finalised a farmers market coming to the precinct, working with some people that have businesses within Ipswich. At this point, we're looking at twice a month on Sundays. And when we're set up with our new council administration building, we're possibly looking at midweek markets as they do in Brisbane. We've got Lots of community partnerships coming up in the space, so we're really proud to be working with DVAC and holding a remembrance vigil for them in May. We're working with the Ipswich Circus, bringing them in to participate in a number of our events. Harmony Week, again, really proud to be supporting that. So we're also working with the citywide events team to look at how we can execute those incredible events that we've brought into the city and deliver that in the Nicholas Street precinct. So from an activation perspective, there's certainly a lot coming up between now and the rest of the year.
Can I ask Ms Grant, in relation to the community organisations that may want to, for instance, light up the building as part of celebrations or commemorations during a week, what is the governance in place for those people to reach out and contact council?
So there's currently a process in place, not dissimilar to what we use for the Civic Centre. So we're just in the process now of working with the Civic Centre to expand that central point of contact, and certainly particularly with the LED screens that we will have within the precinct, we would encourage the community to come, whether it's via our website at the moment or via the council website, and to definitely approach us. We're open to all of those activations and suggestions.
Okay. And can I just confirm, in relation to stakeholder engagement, when we are curating the events coming up, we are working with existing businesses down in the precinct?
Yes, we certainly are, yes. So we're obviously keeping them up to date about all of the events that we're holding and looking for synergies where we can. So, if we can support a business there and use their services, for example, the bakery, we have done that, with some of our events. So we're trying to support them certainly as much as we can.
Excellent, thank you. Councillor Johnny?
Hi, Ms Grant. Are you able to give me a little bit more detail on the Secret Laneway series?
It's a secret, Councillor Johnny.
So enticing.
No, I will tell you, we've got a really great idea for the use of our brand new Crib and Foot lane, and it will be exactly that, a Secret Laneway series. So what we're planning to do, and now I'm letting the cat out of the bag, is to partner, got it out of me, Councillor, is to partner with some different community groups. It will be a kind of have a bit of a speak-easy feel. It'll be something that the city has never seen before. So we want to create that, but then we want to give that opportunity to different not-for-profits, different business groups, different organisations across the city to be involved in that. So we'll create it for them and then give them the opportunity to sort of deliver it and own it and make some funds out of it.
Yeah.
So they will be really fabulous.
That sounds
And
really
also,
cool.
it's a small space, so they'll be quite limited as far as the people we can get in there, which we think is just going to kind of increase that hype. And as we said, something that hasn't been done in the city before.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms Grant.
Thank you.
Questions? Okay, could I have somebody move that recommendation, please? Thank you, Councillor Johnnick, and a second. Thank you, Councillor Milligan. Any further discussion? Mayor Hardy?
If I can just get very excited. I'm really, thank you to the team, Ms Grant and your team, but the 2021 events calendar is incredibly exciting, and not just for the Gin Festival, but also the return of the Kitchen, the Switch. My daughter was crowned the Queen of the Kitchen, the Switch a few years ago, so seeing that vintage festival come back is absolutely amazing. But yeah, I'm really impressed with the calendar that you've mapped out here, and obviously the tantaliser you've given us here for the Secret Laneway series. It'd be wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you, Chair. I know that you spend a lot of time outside of committee working with the team, so thank you.
No, and I just want to also congratulate the team down there. You've curated some amazing events, and the public will often be our harshest critics, and you've delivered some great events, and there will obviously always be teething issues in any new venue, but I think we've done extremely well considering, so thank you, and I'm very excited about the new events coming up. Okay, any further? No? Put the matter to the vote. All those in favour? Confirmed. That's unanimous and carried. And so there's no notices of motion or matters arising, so we will close at 10 minutes to 2. Thank you.